Hi everyone, this is Ferkan and we're exploring Riga, the capital of Latvia, for 2 days. We're arriving in the morning from Tallinn, the capital of Estonia, by plane. It takes about 50 minutes and we arrive at Riga airport. It's a very modern airport, looks really nice. And one thing I really appreciate about airports in general is when it's clear where your taxi or Uber or Bolt picks you up. We got picked up by Uldis, our Bolt driver. He explained us all about Riga and why it's such a great capital, talks about some of the buildings. And he said that why Riga is so amazing is because there are no migrants and no black people. Yes, that's what he said. So we were actually quite in shock that this guy was so extremely racist. Our first interaction in Riga. So if you're going to Riga, make sure you don't take a ride with Uldis. Yeah, we arrived in the morning, so we dropped our stuff in the hotel and then started walking around, first looking for a coffee as always. We went to a place called Kalve, espresso room. I think they have two locations in Riga, and we went to this one where I had a really good filter coffee and their pastries were also quite amazing. And of course you can see Ukraine references and flags everywhere, obviously. After finishing our coffee, we walked around because also it was too early, we couldn't check into the hotel yet. And even on that short walk, we noticed the amazing architecture, so I was constantly taking out my phone to take videos. And then this beautiful cathedral, but then this ugly McDonald's sign in the park somehow. So this is Riga's Nativity of Christ Cathedral. Again, like really beautiful architecture all over. After that, we walked further on to the Freedom Monument, which can be found there as well. And as we just arrived from Estonia, we expected Latvia to be very similar to Estonia, but we already noticed a big difference. It was much more crowded, and whereas Estonia really tried to be more like a Scandinavian country, this had something a little bit more Russian in a way, and I hope no one feels offended by that. But even these kind of things are definitely not something that we saw, at least in Tallinn, and also like a lot of these kind of things, like this guy wearing a balaclava and a t-shirt. I mean, you know, it's funny. I love these kind of things happening. So on that note, Riga was pretty awesome. And we walked a bit more around the city center, and before we could check into our hotel at around 1 p.m. And overall, our interactions with people were not too unpleasant, except for the taxi driver, of course. They were also not too nice. Like I didn't have too many interactions where people were actually interested in what you do or where you come from, etc. Luckily, the hotel we had was quite amazing. It had a really nice river view. And then from there, after checking in, we went to the Riga Central Market. When we arrived in Riga, the day before it snowed, so it was really looking very beautiful, and they also told us they were quite lucky because it didn't snow that much actually lately. So here we walked past a shop that sells hot chocolate. Later on I found out it's called One Cacao Coffee Shop, and they have all of these holistic drinks and this very vibey music. Not sure if I would go there if you told me, but actually the drink was pretty fine, but definitely very alternative.
What they think about it.
After the hot chocolate we had, we felt of course very holistic and very energized. So we walked towards Alberta Street, and this is a street with all kinds of Art Nouveau architecture and all kinds of beautiful buildings. So if you're into these kind of things, definitely recommend going to Riga. It's really beautiful to see all of these great buildings. And then this is in front of the Russian embassy, and they of course had a Nice picture of Putin across the embassy. And here's my wife kicking snow for no reason. So after walking the entire day, we were quite hungry of course, and we decided to eat at Rozengrals, which is an authentic medieval restaurant. Usually I'm not too much into these kind of things, but I enjoyed it much more than I would expect. So you enter this restaurant and you feel like you're in the 1400s or 1500s, or as if you're entering a Game of Thrones episode. And it's not just the interior but also the servers. Everyone is dressed in that way. And it was also quite cozy actually. So you go down here, there's a few spots on the left and then the main area with a bar where you can sit. And I didn't expect too much from the food, to be honest. But we ordered a French onion soup. My wife got some pumpkin. I got a sea bass. And it was actually really enjoyable and also quite decently priced. I think in the end we paid about 60 euros in total. And yeah, it's an experience on its own. So if you're going to Riga, I definitely recommend going to this restaurant. The food is good, the interior is super interesting, and the services were also pretty nice. So after finishing our dinner, we continued our walk. And this guy decided in this cold to run with his shorts. So props to you. I mean, I was freezing with my pants on. Very cute art installation. And again, a lot of cozy lights everywhere. So the Christmas we didn't have in the Netherlands, we definitely did have it now in the beginning of January in Riga. And then we went to Kukotava. Again, a cafe with a lot of pastries. Don't go there for the coffee, but the pastries are actually really nice. So this is the next day, and we actually wanted to do a bit of work on our laptops. So we decided to go to a cafe and also get breakfast. We heard about Rocket Bean, so we went there. You can get like pretty good filter coffee, a sandwich, a croissant for €1, which is insane. So yeah, we put in some work there, and then afterwards we walked to the house of the blackheads. And it's called the house of the blackheads because of this Saint Maurice, who was a black Egyptian. Entrance was, I think, about 7 or 8 euros per person, and we spent about 1 hour here. My wife and I, we actually never book a guide, but we just prefer walking around on our own pace and just getting to know a little bit of the history, the architecture of a city. It's a historic building located in the city's old town, and it was originally built in the 14th century. It actually served as a meeting and event venue for the Brotherhood of Blackheads. So the museum showed all kinds of like historical artifacts, some luxurious interiors with all of these cabinets, and also some history from the guild. If you're in Riga and you want to explore a museum, definitely check out the House of the Blackheads. And here is a digital book that almost looks real. After visiting the House of the Blackheads in Riga, we decided to walk to the National Library of Latvia. We saw it from our hotel and it looked amazing, so why not walk there? It's about a 20-minute walk. And when we arrived, again, both the museum and also the library, but also in general in Riga, I think it's not crowded at all, which is really amazing. There were actually even a few exhibitions going on. And this National Library of Latvia, it's actually also known as the Castle of Light. And it was designed by a Latvian American architect called Gunnar Birkerts. The exhibitions were nice, but we got a free pass to go all the way up because we really wanted to see how Riga looks from all the way at the top. So we arrived here, which is I think on the 7th or the 9th floor. I mean, the view was amazing, but they had these gray dots on the window which kind of like ruined the view a little bit. No idea why. We thought it might be for the birds, but if you know, let it know in the comments. So yeah, time to sit down a bit because we were also tired from all of the walking and traveling. After that we walked back, and this shop definitely didn't want any kind of animals or even a bike in their shop. And then we walked to Lido, a traditional Latvian restaurant. We actually saw it in Estonia as well, but we wanted to eat it here in Latvia. I didn't realize it was this IKEA style like self-service buffet. And also all of the dishes had pork, which I and my wife don't eat. But luckily there was like this fish lasagna kind of dish. I really felt like some roasted potatoes. And my wife got salmon. And we got this pickled onions. Overall pretty good. Spent only 28 euros, but I'm not sure if I would recommend it. Then we walked to the Three Brothers, which are three very old buildings. Like the oldest house is from the late 15th century, also located in the city center. After visiting Three Brothers, we went to a cafe called Crumble Cake, which my wife really wanted to go to. We had some of the cakes. And they also had this booklet with some rules, which I'm really not sure what to think of. I'm really leaning towards not liking that. Anyways, we got some cakes, some coffee and tea, very cute cups. Cakes were actually not that great, if I have to be very honest. After that, we wanted to go to a fish restaurant, but unfortunately we didn't have a reservation, so it was fully booked. But across there was a Japanese restaurant called Unagi Inu. It looked really nice. It was quite crowded, but after getting some sushi, some donburi bowls, and like all of that kind of stuff, and even some crispy chicken, I do have to say I was a bit disappointed. But the funny part is that we did see Paul Dano, very random, like this American actor from 12 Years a Slave, Prisoners, Batman, etc. But yeah, so that happened, and then after that we went to Parunasim. Again, a very cute cafe if you're there with your wife or your girlfriend and you want to have a romantic time. Definitely also visit that cafe. So that was Riga. Overall, a really nice experience going there for 2 days. If you're into architecture or you want to go to like a capital that's not too crowded, Riga is definitely the place to go. Of course, I've not been able to talk about everything going on in Riga, but if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao. Bye, bye.